So these finger-looking guys, this is Oberonia, and they're Southeast Asian, and these are just leaves. They're like semi-succulent leaves. What? These none in flower right now, but you said they're tiny flowers when they go off.
Yes.
This little Trisatella hertzii. You say anytime you see the name Hertz, it's probably from Ecuador.
Yep. Alex Hertz.
Was that a German guy down there?
No, he's Ecuadorian.
Look at those strange appendages on those sepals.
I have no idea what pollinates them.
Okay, so what is this? What are we looking at here?
This is from Colombia. It's Dracula vampira.
Oh, this is the namesake.
Yep.
Dracula vampira, and again, just mimicking a mushroom with that labellum.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, look at that thing. The speckling. So again, fungus gnats. Yeah. And fungus gnats are pretty effective pollinators, I take it, huh? Mm-hmm. And what are those appendages on this either side of the column? Those are.
That's the petals.
Again, those are just the vestigial petals.
Minute little guys.
What is this dendrochilum?
Mainly found in the Philippines, but they range from Borneo all the way, through Southeast Asia up to China.
Wow, so that's a pretty big genus, then, or what?
Yes, about 300.
So I can't even see where they're coming from, right up there. Wow. So these are presumably epiphytes too, huh?
Yep.
This Dracula, this is a tiny little labellum, probably just, I guess, mimicking a tiny pink mushroom of some kind. And this is Dracula. What'd you say?
Platycrater.
Platycrater from where? Colombia, Ecuador.
Colombia.
Okay, and then breaking away from the orchid train, we got a high altitude cloud forest blueberry relative, Ceratostemma.
These are from Ecuador.
Ecuadorian blueberries, high elevation Ecuadorian blueberries. And look at those anthers just dumping out of that corolla right there. Probably Hummer pollinated, I guess, right? That red tubular flower. Look at all the hairs. What Dracula is this?
That's Umbangiana from Colombia.
God damn it! So this is a humidity-loving genus. You can't grow these without humidity.
Yep. You can grow the plants, but they won't flower. So.
Those flowers just wilt.
They wilt and shrivel up and they'll form buds, but the buds will just fall off.
So they need the cloud forest. They need that high elevation humid. So we got another one of these pendant flowering epiphytic. This is a cola. What is it? Colagine, but you pronounce it Silogeny?
Yep.
Colagine. Let's talk about this genus. How many species? And this is a pretty species-rich genus. You got a lot of.
It's about 260, 300 in that range.
And this guy's from Borneo.
Yes, it is. Very pretty flower. Not very long lasting. About 2 weeks typically.
I guess that's a good indicator of the habitat it grows in, since the flower, the pendant flower drapes below the vegetative parts.
It all protects it from the rain.
Right. This is a structure called velamen. It's like a dry sponge, soaks up the water and then pumps it up to the vegetative parts to go about photosynthesis. Look at those massive pseudobulbs up there too. Just storage. So if it's the occasions it dries out, can hang in there, wait for the next fog bank or thunderstorm. Speaking of velamen, look at that. Look at it. You could see it right there. You could see all that tissue. I'd love to look at that under a microscope. That spongy tissue. You said this is dendrobium?
Yeah, it's a dendrobium. This one's from Borneo. You can see the flowers way up there. So this is a monster plant. Actually, I want to find it a new home because it's occupying too much space in here.
Jesus Christ! Dendrobiums. That's a massive genus. Look, you got. Wonder what species are these? Algae or mosses or what?
Algae and mosses.
Oh my God! This is Dracula carinae. What the? It's so different from all the others. But again, fungus gnats are the main pollinator here. And then look at those stringy appendages on each sepal. The petals are where?
On either side of the column. They're just short little.
Oh my God!
Little tiny guys.
So yeah, they're not really necessary. They don't need them. It's just all the sepals are doing all the work here. Okay, so this guy has a very strange growth habit. Pretty remarkable plant. You said you collected this in Chiapas in 1977?
1977 in a ranch out near San Cristobal de las Casas.
And what's happened to that habitat? You think the habitat's still intact? Where this is from? Maybe?
I'm not sure, but I mean, this is a fairly widespread species, so it's fairly common. But it's Maxillary densa. But just a neat growth habit. That was actually the first orchid I actually put on a stick. It was on an oak branch for many, many, many years.
Maxillaria densa. What do the flowers look like?
Massive clusters of light pink flowers that come around the base of the new growths.
The tender Schlumbergera. The species name for this Schlumbergera is Apunthioides, which makes sense because it does look like an opuntia. Just looks like a prickly pear. Different subfamily though. Same genus as the plant colloquially known as Christmas cactus, but you can see a very obvious Hummer pollination syndrome going on there. Almost a bilaterally symmetrical flower. Hummer goes in there, gets a little dusting of pollen on its head. But just look at it, it's still got such heavy spines. It's not smooth like the one your granny keeps on her porch. So these right here, these are lithophytes, you're saying. These mostly grow on rocks, as opposed to many of the epiphytes. So they're gonna have to have a larger pseudobulb.
So these, you can see I mount them on. This is Laelia milleri.
So what are some of the morphological differences between the lithophytes and the epiphytes?
A lot of these grow in fairly dry areas, but they're opportunistic because it's an absence of trees where these are native to.
So these are tend to be a lot more drought tolerant.
Yes.
Intolerant to the heat.
But they grow in rocks and usually in grasslands, and so that's why they are able to survive, because they can survive fires by being protected by the rocks.
So what are some of the regions of the world where these might grow?
These grow in central Brazil, in the Minas Gerais area. So
Gotta get down to
high
Brazil.
elevation, about 5,000–6,000 feet elevation.
Okay, so these, you said these grow mostly on iron ore deposits, and a lot of them are extinct in nature. What's the
Yeah.
genus and the species we're looking
This
at?
is Laelia milleri, and I have 3 distinct populations in here that have 3 distinct color forms of them. The first population was found probably about 1972, I think it was, and it was wiped out completely because it was on a rich iron ore deposit. So that
It was standing in the way of
progress, if you call it that.
of the shiny that the human was going after.
And then it was discovered in other areas that were also iron ore deposits. I think there's still one surviving population of them, if I recall.
You can see all those red pigments. That kind of hints at the fact they probably grow in a stressful environment.
Oh, yes. But I have some of these plants that I originally imported back in 1980,